Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. Thank you all for being here today. Uh, wow. Okay. Happy Monday to you guys. So it's Monday, and I hope you guys had a great weekend. Thank you for showing up. Be patient with me while I fix up my area. I was actually trying to fix it up in a different place, but the reception and sound and all that stuff is not good in the area where I was trying to set it up. So this is it, but I'm going to fix it up little by little. So I hope you guys are doing well and that these messages are helping you. And thank you for the new subscribers because and the comments that I'm getting, which lets me know that the messages here on this channel are resonating with you. So thank you for that, guys. So let's get into this topic of discussion today. Before we do so, I have a little bit my voice back. I've been working so hard to nurse this cold I had. It was awful, especially during Thanksgiving. Excuse me, because I couldn't talk at all, and I had to learn what I say to you guys. Take care of myself. I do try to get to bed early, but sometimes it's not possible. But I am working to improve, my health and things like that. So I'm so thankful to God. I have my voice back from what it was. So, okay, guys, let's get into this topic of discussion. When someone refused to heal, is the topic of discussion. When someone refused to heal, to do the work to heal. Um, we're going to talk about that because we always talk about healing and the effects of it, etc. But we're going to talk about all of these things that lead up to healing, growing and evolving. So I have some notes here. So although healing requires a lot of work on ourselves, it's not easy. It's not quick like a microwave. We really have to do the work. I know I did a whole lot of work and it wasn't easy. A lot of work entails looking at yourself in a mirror to see why the pain lingers, why the grief lingers. And a lot of these things have to do with inner childhood wounds, you know, um, things that happened when we were children. I know for myself, a lot of these things had to do with what happens in this house stays in this house. And we never talked about the trauma of it all. We never dealt with it or got any help because how I grew up, they didn't, my family didn't believe in that. And so you had to chalk it up, you know. And, when you don't deal with these things, as you get older, it starts to come out in different ways. So it's so important that we deal with these things because it can affect tremendously our physical and mental health. Let's talk about the rewards of doing the work because it is a lot of work, a lot of pain at first, but there are rewards as you stay on this journey and you're consistent and you don't give up on yourself. Some of the rewards are being free of being stuck and being stagnated in depression, grief, or anger. Because sometimes when we don't heal things within, we can have outbursts of anger, depression. Even some people have had suicide thoughts because when we don't heal these things and we walk around with things that's traumatized us all of our life or for half of our life, and we don't talk about it and we just it doesn't go anywhere. It stays within because we're not doing the work to heal it. you know um so healing is so important, especially for our physical and mental health, because it takes a tremendous toll on our physical and mental health. Healing also, as we do the work and stay consistent and stay on a path, it leads to self-love. And once we start loving on ourselves, not being in love with ourselves, people, but loving on ourselves, because we're supposed to love ourselves. If we don't love ourselves, how do we expect anybody else to? So healing leads to self-love, which eventually leads to self-care. And once you start to understand this, you're going to want to take care of yourself better, take care of your health, physical and mental. Self-discipline and inner peace is the results of all this hard work. When you see these obstacles or challenges, that come up, and pain and grief, etc. Excuse me, guys. I look at these things as lessons. Remember, situations and persons, people, situations, circumstances come into our life for a reason, season, lifetime, or a lesson. And in my case, and I use myself as an example a lot because I have done a lot of work and I'm still doing work. It's an ongoing thing. It's never ending, but it's not as um, painful as it was before, as it was in the beginning when I first started. However, things come into our life sometimes as a lesson. And when we don't learn these lessons, it repeats itself. And as I said in previous videos, when these lessons come back around, they come back with a vengeance, you know, worse than ever, because we didn't learn the lesson the first or second time around. So this is why I like to do the work so that I don't have to repeat lessons. And one of the lessons I was repeating is getting involved with narcissistic individuals, toxic people who are abusive, verbally abusive, and who didn't have my best interests at heart, and people who were takers coming into my life, people who didn't want to work and take care of themselves. They wanted to be taken care of. I was attracting all of what I didn't want when I didn't do the work. And the lessons kept coming back, and I kept making excuses until one day it got so bad, I had to do the work. And as I did the work, now I don't attract that because I'm not the same Lisa as I was when I first started. I learned to say no. It's important somewhere on this journey to learn to say no to people because, excuse me, sometimes people will come into your life to try to take from you, to use you up, you know, and I would make excuses that I can help this person to do better. Some people you can, but only those who want to help themselves. You can take a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. So when people don't want help and they are in that phase of using people or whatever it is, I learned to say no. And I wasn't doing that before. So I've learned the lessons. And once you learn these lessons, no matter what it is, that was my lesson. Some of you, know what your lessons are. And once you learn these lessons, you don't have to repeat them anymore. You can move on. Um, so learn these lessons as quickly as you can so that you don't have to repeat them. One of the things that helped me a lot was starting therapy and prayer, music, and meditation. Always, my faith in God has grown to the point where I trust Him, you know, everything that I've been through. And it took time for me to get there because for a long time I was angry at God, but I needed to do the work. I needed to learn to love myself and to know that I matter. And you all matter once you start doing the work. Self-love is so important because when you start to love yourself, people, you will understand what is for your highest good and what is not. You don't just settle for situations just because you don't want to be alone, just because all your friends and everybody else have somebody. So, even though this person over here is toxic as hell and they're not bringing it much to the table, but you know what? This person is here. So, hey, I can show my friends and family and everybody I have somebody. In my case, I rather be alone and enjoy my own company until that person come along. And as I do some dating, I take my time. And what I've learned is that some people don't like to take their time. They like to right in, and I don't do that anymore. The old version of myself used to think it was cute. Oh, this person want this with me, and this is how I would get trapped into these toxic narcissistic relationships. And once they have that chokehold on you, it's hard, to get yourself untangled from it. So I take my time to see who I'm dealing with, and if we are on the same page and if we are walking down the same path. Because if that person is walking to the left and I'm over here on the right, then maybe we are not on the same page. And then, one of the things I learned to do also is to ask questions and to communicate. And one of the things I also learned from the last situation, of a couple of years ago when I was dating someone, they didn't like to communicate about themselves. That's a huge red flag to me now, because that's a process of getting to know someone. And when a person don't want to talk about certain things, it's like, okay, and it continues, those are red flags. And for me, it's like, okay, this is not going to work out. And I learned in certain situations now to say no. Whereas before, I would ignore those red flags and say, well, maybe this person had A, B, C, and D happen to them, and I can bring them out of it by showing them this or that. No, you can't. If it looks like a duck, it's quacking and walking like a duck, then it's a duck. Don't call it anything else. And I learned those lessons quickly, because otherwise I will be repeating things that I've already, you know, have learned lessons from. But the key factor for me is to say no. Now, the negative effects we're going to talk about on refusing to do the work to heal, these things. Sometimes unhealed individuals can or will bring OPPs to your table, to other people's table. They will come with OPPs and drop them off at your table. Now, if you don't know what an OPP is other people's problems. They're coming with, like I described in that metaphor, a ton of bricks. But these are their bricks. These are their burdens to carry. So they're coming to you with these burdens, and they're dropping them on your table or trying to put those burdens on your back. But these burdens don't belong to you. And I give them right back to them, you know. And when I see this, it's like, okay, I see this is where this is going, and I leave them where they are with that. Sometimes, what they do is they play the blame game. Instead of taking accountability for the negative actions, maybe they did something towards you, they need to apologize and, stand up for, just hold some accountability to what they did to you, or what they didn't do. And when you're dealing with unhealed individuals, especially narcissists, they rarely apologize for anything. It's always your fault. I remember a long time ago when I was in a 10-year narcissistic relationship, and this ex was very jealous of me for some reason. But anyway, we were having this nasty argument. And throughout, at some point within an argument, it was said, if you do what I tell you to do, then we wouldn't be having this situation, wouldn't be having this argument. And I had to stop and laugh for a minute that this is crazy. This is insane, you know. And the least I am today, I wouldn't even deal with that. It would be cut off, block, and delete immediately, because I've been down that path so many times. I already know what the red flags look like. And that's why I talk about it and I show up on this channel and talk to you guys, because I've had every experience I talk about here, I've had them. And I had to repeat and repeat. I repeated so much that I know what it looks like now. And I just know how to say no. So people who don't take accountability for their negative actions, all of this is unhealed wounds. And also their mental and physical health could be compromised as the grief and pain stay stagnated within. Because that's another thing, people, when you don't heal these things, they stay stuck within, because the grief and the pain doesn't have an outlet to be let out, you know. Um, It just stays stuck within. And they come out in different ways, in mood swings, anger, depression, etc. When you don't have an outlet to release these things, then they stay stuck within us, because it has no place to go. When we refuse to heal, we cannot grow and evolve, and we cannot be the best version of ourselves. We stay stuck in that pain and that grief, and that depression. We cannot see things from a different perspective as well, because we feel stuck in the pain and the grief because we're not doing the work to heal it. I started out with therapy after going through these lessons over and over again, because each time they were coming around, these lessons was worse and worse and worse, to the point I started therapy. I didn't know what to expect, with starting therapy. And I do therapy online weekly. And I didn't know what to expect from it, but I knew I had to do something because I needed an outlet for the pain and the grief, and to understand why I was always making these negative decisions in my life. Um, as I started to do the work with it, I start to do a pro and con list of situations, and then I start to understand why I was doing these things. Now, when you understand why you are doing these things, then you can take action to change it for the better. None of this stuff happens overnight, but nothing venture is nothing gain. Once you start to do the work and you start to slowly see the progress within yourself, you're going to want to do more. Um, I do the work so I don't have to repeat lessons, because these lessons were like really off the hook crazy lessons, because I wasn't learning them. They were getting worse, so I started to do the work, and then I started to find ways. Prayer helps me a lot, guys. Praying to God, asking him to help me. When I talk about the metaphor of the bricks, even my own burdens, and I'll say at times, God, this is too much. I can't do this, and focus on what I need to do. Especially when I say I can't focus on the vows that I made, God comes through right away, and he takes those bricks and he carries them and take them, and then he gives them back to whoever is trying to send it my way. If they're my own burdens, God will take them and carry them himself. And I've seen that time and time again, you know. And I continue to move forward. I have days where I don't get things done. Like last week, for the whole week, I didn't go to the gym because I was sick. I definitely got there today, and there's going to be times where it's going to be slow going, but then you get right back up and you keep going. You don't know what to expect, because this is, these things don't come with an instruction book. But as you start to do the work, you'll find creative ways to do it where it doesn't feel so, like a burden to do. So let us find ways to heal these things so that we don't have to stay stuck. And as you feel better, you start to do better, and as you do better, you can give more to the things that are before you, and that's the key factor here. And as you grow and learn, you can help other people by paying it forward. It's so important to heal so that we can move forward instead of being broken down into pieces. That's the message today, guys. Please continue to show up here. Um, Share these videos with other people that you know who needs to hear these messages, because some people could be depressed, especially holiday time now, especially those who have lost loved ones and they're spending maybe their first holiday without that loved one, because maybe that person passed away before the holiday time, and they're feeling the grief of it. I know it's been 4 years and I still feel the grief of my mother not being here, not having the friends that I have because they passed away during the shutdown. I know what that's like. But what I've been doing is keeping myself busy, throwing myself and embracing myself into the Christmas spirit. And even though I have moments of grief, I go into prayer with God and ask him to continue to help me to move forward, and other people, you know, when I see other people and talk to them and encourage them, that helps me as well. So people, take the time to talk to others, and if you're not one who like to communicate your feelings and etc., I would suggest you start with therapy and show up on this channel, because we're going to talk about different ways that we can heal ourselves so that we all can continue to grow and evolve. That's the message today, guys. Thank you for being here. This is Lisa, always encouraging you, shedding love and light always. And I will be back tomorrow with a new message. I'm not sure of the time, so subscribe to the channel. Bring others here so that they can be here and hear the message as well. Thank you, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.